We worked on what you focus on expands. Do you remember that? And how we use our thoughts to create intention and then create things that we desire. We talked last week about rising above the challenges. Did anybody face challenges this week that they had to? Yay! So we had to hold on to our masters by our side and God guiding us above and beyond. Yeah. So these are all part of learning tools. Those are the tools that we use in our consciousness so that we can go forth and actually become masters of matter. And masters of matter don't grab matter and make it be different. What it is understanding that matter is an energy that has taken a form. And that form can be respected, honored, but it has no power over us. We can create different forms. We could change that form. But it's understanding that we're energy. We're working above it instead of feeling subject to it. Everybody say, I got that. All right. So we have been talking about how our consciousness functions at our consciousness, which is our functioning level of awareness. You guys know that's what that means when we use that word. Our functioning level of awareness means you can know a whole lot, but unless it can function in your world, it's stored in a database. But our functioning level of awareness, that includes everything. It includes your fears, your faith, it includes your beliefs, includes everything. So it's the totality of our beliefs and experiences. This level of consciousness is what creates our reality every day. It sustains our current level of awareness, our level of consciousness. We are a magnet for our world. So in a nutshell, what that means is that they wanted us to remember and realize that everything that you have in your world right now, your consciousness has created it and is now sustaining it. Good, bad, challenging, indifferent, your consciousness is sustaining what is. So the creation process actually requires us to shift, does it not? It requires us to shift consciousness to create something different. So to have different, we must be different. How easy is that? Yeah. And we think we're doing so well, don't we? Had a moment the other day, Charmaine reminded me, she was helping me at the house with the computer, and I was stressed. And at the very last hour, I blew. I just released one word. But as I released it, it had quite the punch. And I realized immediately, man, you're stressed, girl. But I forgave myself and had to go back and do neutralization work and things along those lines. But we all have those moments when we recognize we were doing so good. I did not rise above that challenge in that moment, but I did in the next. So good job, Cindy. That's what we're going to say. All right. To have different, we must be different. When we recognize it and change it, then we are moving toward different. Okay. We've been talking about how we've been talking also about aligning with God, divine energy of infinite potential and love, and how that can change our reality almost instantly. If we can align with God, the greater, the good, the infinite potential, love, strength, power, wisdom, then and align with means becomes one with. Then we can change instantly. Now, when we align with it, we become one with, and then we step out of it, we've shifted back, right? So we align with it feeling and mentally. We have to become capable of embodying ideas that also support that oneness. Because you can feel it when you look at a sunset. You can cry your heart out and feel God and wake up the next day with the same thoughts that are going back to create the same experience. You've been touched and shifted, but it's not affected the mind, which is part of the creation process. All right. Now, when we start creating, it begins with a desire. And if we can have a desire to lift into greater energy, then we're aligning with God. God knows what we need, and God knows our greatness. The God energy can create a form that we have requested, but it will not be within the reality that we have now known. Got it? When we align with God, the greater energy, we have a desire for something greater, we align with God, divine mind, then what we can create can be outside of what we've currently known. That's expansion. Getting it? Okay. All right. So we want to think about it. How we create, we know basically there are 7 steps to creation, but we're only going to talk about the 4 steps that you need right now for understanding how the creation process works. The first is desire. You have a desire for something. Y'all know desire? It's just this thing. It comes over you. Then you think about it, and you start giving it a form, and you start kind of playing with it. You energize it with your emotions, and then it becomes a magnet. It comes to you because you're now magnetized to receive it. We do this all the time. This is how we maintain our level of consciousness. That's why we're always thinking about the same thing. We're feeling the same way about the same thing. We're harboring the same worries and concerns. Got it? Okay. To shift, we have to start with recognizing things differently. An idea is a desire, and what Spirit wanted us to realize that every good desire is from God. Do you realize that? Even if it's for a vacation. I want a vacation. How many of you then go, oh no, I haven't worked hard enough. Oh no, I can't afford it. Seriously. I want a vacation, but. So, which is of God? I want a vacation. That's full of good, it's full of pleasure, it's full of relaxation. Which is of your current level of consciousness? The buts. I don't have money, I can't have time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now we're caught in this thing. We have a desire, and our desire is going to pitch out at whichever is the strongest. And most of the time, which is the strongest? The yeah buts. That's the strongest. So what we want to realize is the desire, if we think every good desire, even if it's crazy, if it's good for me, it's coming from God. Okay, all right, it's coming from God. Now the next step is our form, creating in our imagination, creating in our idea what that form might look like. And what we typically do is we create the details. You know, if you're trying to manifest a car, you put 4 wheels on it. You make it a color you want. You see yourself zipping down the road. Do you hear what I'm saying? You visualize what this car is going to be like. You create a form. Now, when we're dealing with God and God energy, what we want to do is create a form that has loose ends around it. If it is a vacation that we want to manifest, I know, God, you want to give me a vacation. I feel it. I'm ready. Yeah, buts are gone. I'm ready. I'm thinking about it. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, yeah, I see the water. I see the mountains. Whatever it is that your soul loves, you're going to create it based on what your soul loves. I see that. I see that. That'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be great. And then you leave it open. This or greater, God. I'm going to leave it open. I'm not going to book a flight. I'm not going to book a hotel. I'm going to give space for divine mind to come to bring it to me. I'm going to give space for divine mind to create it a little bit better. Do you hear? So I'm following the good, and I'm thinking about it. I'm declaring it. And somebody might say, "Hey, what are you up to?" "Oh, I'm manifesting a vacation." "Oh, where are you going?" "Don't know yet." "Don't know yet. Just saw some water. I'm probably going to be by the water." That's what I see so far. And we're walking as surely as if we've already booked it. We're walking as certainly as if we've already booked it. So the form in divine mind, if you do not allow it to mold into something different, it will become what you've already experienced. And you know this. You'll recreate it from files in your mind. It's going to look like this, it's going to look like this. Yeah. Be exactly what you've already experienced. Right? Okay. Then energize it. You know how you energize these creations before they become? Your emotions. So if you're dreaming of the vacation or the car, and I'm talking about something tangible at this point, manifest relationships, manifest whatever you want. We're dreaming about it. We're feeling it. So we're feeling how we're going to feel. We're feeling how it's going to be. We're energizing it with our history. With our history. What about if we energize it with God love? It's going to feel great, but I know God love is going to feel it too. God is energizing this vacation, car relationship with God light. Think of relationships for just a moment, since that seems to be very entangled with people. I don't know if you guys are good out there in cyberland, but a lot of people aren't. So when you're trying to manifest a relationship, this is when things get a little bit tangled up. We're going to do good. God's going to bring this perfect person to me. I see them. They're going to be fabulous. Now, as I'm energizing it with emotion, I am pulling through my level of consciousness, which holds within it every single heartache, every single relationship that we've witnessed that has failed, every single time we had to slam the phone on somebody or block them. It's all coming through. It's all coming through. And as it comes through, we're energizing the dream with that. And we're saying, don't make it like that. But the universe is saying, is that what you want? Order up. It's going to come through that way. It's going to have all those components in it. And if you say, don't make it like that, you will draw someone that is exactly like that so you can say no to them. So you can say what you didn't say last time. So you can finish it differently. Do you see? So when we're energizing what we want the joyful, remember we talked about writing a happy ending a couple weeks ago, joyful happy ending and God love. This is going to be a spiritual experience because God is working with me on this. Ooh, it's going to be a spiritual experience vacation. Car's going to be a spiritual experience. This relationship is going to be a spiritual experience. It's going to help my soul because God's working with me on it. Is everybody with me? Okay. Then the form. That's our last. So we have the desire. We have the idea. We're creating a form of the idea of what we want. We're energizing it. And now it comes back to us in matter. And the form comes back to us only in what we are capable of receiving at that time. It comes back in what you're capable of receiving at that time. At that time. Got it? So, if our consciousness has not shifted, we're going to receive what we've always received. It's going to be extremely familiar. And sometimes we won't even recognize it. Oh, you're here again? Oh, I'm manifesting somebody. Oh, it was you? Okay. We don't even recognize. This is the fruition of our manifestation. So we have to, in our own consciousness, begin to open to receive different, greater, grander. All right. The divine idea is God expanding your greatness in you, whether you realize it or not. The vacation expands your greatness. The relationship, if it's from God, expands your greatness. Whatever it is that you've asked for is expanding the greatness in you, bringing good to you to expand you. Can you receive that? That's the tricky part. That's because if I am greater, I am different. So to be, we want to live the creation process. So to become bigger, better, greater, we need to open to bigger, better, greater within ourselves and recognize that it is spirit that takes us there, not an accomplishment that somebody gives us a pat on the head for. Oh, you did such a good job. Great, thank you. Did that make me bigger, better, greater? No. If I feel I shared something that was awesome or I did something amazing, that makes me bigger, better, greater, not some outer affirmation. Y'all with me? Okay. Why does that make me better? Because I'm connecting with my spirit within me. It's spirit, it's God in me. That makes me bigger, better, greater. That makes me happy. That keeps me from loneliness. That keeps me from sorrow. It keeps me from feeling thwarted and frustrated because that's in me. And I'm one with God. And then I'm one with all things. All right. I want y'all to hear these words and pretend like you're saying them. I won't make you repeat it. I have created all I can at this level of consciousness. Create, repeat, create, repeat, create, repeat. I have created all that I can because I'm really good and I'm trying really, really hard at this level of consciousness. So now it's time to lift. I wanted to share with y'all, this is my Life and Teachings book that we teach this as part of our seminary program. It's the last course that our to-be-ordained ministers go through, Adriana Suarez. No pressure on the to-be-ordained part. But when I teach this, this is what Spirit asked me to tell my students, so I'm going to share this with you. We, as the creative children of God, are constantly creating in our own image and in our own likeness. Ouch. We are creating in our own image and in our own likeness. We are afraid to ask for what we want, yet we are continually creating from our own consciousness. We are therefore in a constant state of asking for what we want. We are not asking for greater. I love that. That's why I want to share that with you. We think we know what's best. We have to allow God's space to give us bigger. We have to trust that it is good for our souls. How many of you have looked at things and gone, and Spirit has a boot in your tail end, going, no, go. And afterwards you go, wow, that was amazing. I'm so glad that I've accomplished this, forgetting that it took the boot to get you going, you know. But it was your soul needed to expand. Your soul needed to have those experiences. All right, we have to give God space to help create. You guys getting it? We energize with God love. Let's get back to the energizing. So now when we energize it, we bring in God energy. And one of the greatest forms of energizing our creations is gratitude. If we can say, I want this, I feel it, God, I want it, here's the form I can see, make it bigger, make it better, I'm energizing with what I think I'm going to feel, and God, I'm so grateful that you are charging it with divine light. I'm so grateful that you are charging it with the infinite, unlimited potential for me to have a holy experience. And that keeps the connection of the divine moving through the process. With me? All right. I am so grateful for this experience. God is blessing me now. And as you know, if you are trying to shift your ability to receive, resistance will come. There will be something within you. I'm not saying outer, I'm saying in you that goes, no. You're asking way too, the stubborn child that stands before you, no, you're asking way too much, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. This resistance comes up within you and just sticks. And that's when, in the energization process, the resistance can actually knock it down, shut it down, and we're done here, people. So in this process, this is when you go back to God. I am so grateful that God is energizing this for my soul. I am so grateful that God is making me bigger, better, greater. And resistance, I love you. God is making me bigger, better, greater. And resistance, you cannot see it. All resistance knows is the past. You hear me? So when that comes up within you and says, no, you can't, you say, oh, wait. God, thank you that I'm getting bigger. And of course I can't see what I'm going to do. Of course I can't. I can't. But I'm trusting and I'm grateful. Do you see? This whole energization bucket is so important. All right. You can have anything you want. Imagine being at a restaurant, ordering your meal. And what happens when they deliver the wrong meal? What do you say? Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't mine. Because you know what you ordered. And you expect what you ordered, don't you? It's the same thing with manifesting. Oh, yes, I'm working on a desire. No, that's not my desire, that's somebody else's. I'm waiting for mine. And you let yours come to you. Because when yours comes to you, you will know it is yours because it is made of your light. It is made of the vibration that your soul knows and holds. I wanted to share with you a little bit from the Aquarian. This is chapter 137 in the Aquarian, and Jesus has been teaching Lazarus how to pray, and he teaches him the Lord's Prayer. And then he says this, ask for what you want. And he says, the answer to your prayer may not appear in fullness in a little time, which means it may take time. But be not discouraged, for prayer and pray again and again, for God will hear you. And then he spoke the parable of the woman who had visitors and needed bread. So she went to her neighbor and said, I need bread. It was midnight. And she didn't have time to stoke the ovens to make bread. And he said, I can't give it to you. She said, oh, come on. He wouldn't give it to her. She knocked again. He wouldn't give it to her. She knocked again. He wouldn't give it to her. She knocked again. He said, okay. He gave her bread, and because she had visitors. So she fed her visitors. So the idea was persistency. And there are some other parables where we're talking about the idea being love. Or time, where you have to grow in consciousness in order to receive what you want. So I wanted to share with you one of my Cindy stories. And it's funny that my son is not here. So when I was young, I dated Mike, my son's father. I dated him for 2 years, and we lived together 2 years. And at that point, I'm in my 20s, and it's like, I want a child. And I told him, I said, I want a child. I said, Mike, I want a house, white picket fence. I want a kid. And he said, I don't. I said, okay. I left, moved out, and lived on my own for about a year. Because I knew the desire within me was strong, and I knew it was coming from God. It came out of nowhere. I'm telling you, nowhere. Moved out, and within a year or so, Mike called me, came back, and said, okay, you win. We'll get married. So I got married, got pregnant. And I'm carrying my baby. And, you know, y'all remember me at this time. I'm in my 20s. I'm 29 probably. I was raised in metaphysics, but not church. Loved the Bible, but I was raised Baptist. Loved the Bible. Don't talk your truth when you go there, though, son. You got to be quiet. Raised in astrology, raised in manifesting. I'd already manifested jobs. I knew how to meditate. I'd taken other classes. I read all the books I could get my hands on. I was raised in that, but I had no church. I tithed. I had tithe in my account. Whenever God said send it, I would send it, because I wasn't going to a church. And I'm big pregnant, and I'm thinking, I can't bring this child into a world without a church family. I am big, bad, and I can do it on my own, and I have. And I know my light. But I need a place where I will not be shunned, and where my child, I didn't know was a boy, can be raised. And we would go to these churches. Mike and I would church hop. We'd do Baptist. No. They were lovely people. But I could never speak my truth there. I would, reincarnation, what? Goodbye, woman. You know, astrology? No. So I gave birth to my little boy. Actually, it was 36 years ago today. Today, gave birth to him. And a man at my work, and I'd manifested this job. I mean, God was with me. I'd just say I need it, and boom, boom, there it would be. A man at my work came and said, I found a church nearby. It's metaphysical Christian. I said, what? He goes, yes. So we visited. It was a unity church. Oh, my God. It was exactly what I didn't even know they existed. I loved them. Oh my God, it was metaphysical, it was Christian, it was reincarnation, they didn't care about astrology, it was me. Within the first year, before David was a year old, I was teaching the children, because I already knew it, I just had never built it together. Before he was 2 years old, I was teaching their teens. So every Sunday, I was with their kids. A month before David was 5 years old, I was ordained. InnerQuest was started that year. And I called David our founding member, one of our founding members. I share this with you for 2 reasons. The desire to have a child, I was not going to give up, because it came from spirit. And I really wanted kids. I wasn't attached when I was younger. It came from spirit. The need to put him in a church was what I thought was driving me. But it was about me becoming greater. That child was raised in InnerQuest, but you know what? He sat in the big church with the big people because we had no one to teach the kids. He was raised with the adults. He was in every meeting, every Tuesday night. I mean, he was everywhere. But it was about me. If I had not had that deep desire within me to follow it, we would not be here today. My life would not have become and blossomed into what I know is the greatness of my soul. But I was walking at it sideways. Do you see? Why? Because if God had come at me straight up and said to me, this is what we're going to do, it wouldn't have succeeded. As a matter of fact, when David was 2, I said, God, and I'm in metaphysics at this point. I'm in metaphysics. I said, God, tell me what I need to do. Tell me what I'm going to be. They were very specific. It came clear as day. If we tell you your path, you will do everything in your power to circumvent the process. And it was like, yep, I will. I'll be running to the goal instead of going 30 years of waking up every day and doing my life. 30 years. I hope you hear, sometimes our greatness is bigger than we can imagine. Sometimes our desires are taking us to that little moment that takes us to a bigger moment, that takes us to an even bigger moment. But the desires are always about God bringing us greater good. I thought I was protecting my baby. And I know it was for his soul too, because he was raised in it. But it was really about me finally letting my light shine. Because it was okay that nobody saw me. Before that moment, it was okay, nobody saw me, I don't care. I was fine. But I didn't want him to feel that way. I wanted him to feel like he could shine his light. The creation process, when we're really working with God, can be so huge and so immense. But it all starts with us doing the 1, 2, 3s ourselves, getting our tools sharpened. Remember, I already could manifest with God, like, need you, God. I already had those skills. I was raised kind of in that mindset. We need that mindset so we can open up the soul. What is our next step? How are we going to shine bigger and better and brighter? And I wanted to share with you about the masters that we read about in the Life and Teachings of Masters of the Far East. This is really pretty cool. It's very simple. They were talking to Baird about manifesting and why, we have fears and, human frailties. And they said very specifically, according to your faith, it will be done unto you. All things are possible to them that believe. So according to our current level of consciousness, we are living in the environment that we can support. All things are possible if we believe in greater. And I don't care where you are in your journey, if you're absolutely content, things are working well for you, you can be bigger, you can be brighter, we all can. Maybe we don't know how to be bigger, brighter. Well, we can start by maybe having the desire to align with God in everything. To align with the fact that maybe all things are possible. Could we align with that? Maybe all things are possible. I'm throwing ideas out, but you need to feel the desire within you. This is just what I'm throwing out. These are easy possibilities. But if the desire is not in you, you work with what's in you. But if we could get to the point, the desire within us to live that life where we know the unlimited potential can come to us, then we move into the space of mastering matter, because we move into the world where God potential is infinitely available, always available to us. Wisdom, understanding, truth, experiences we need, whatever we need to shine brighter, stronger. And that's how the masters live. They're not probably even aware of need. Oh, it's mealtime. Have some bread. Okay. Oh, we have to go here to there. Okay. I'll either walk with you or we can move there now. And they do, by book 5, the crew is teleporting. They're thinking of the place they want to go to. I mean, I'm talking Baird Spalding is doing this, thinking of where he wants to go and arriving there. So it's true. Yeah, so all of these things become possible. But again, he was bathed in it. He was living with those masters, providing every moment of every day. So he had taken the deep plunge. We have to do this while we're in corporate, while we're at work, while we're dealing with people, while there are other people all around us. We have to make the light of the soul strongest and brightest, even as we're looking at souls that don't see us. But our goal could be to live in a space of knowing that God within can do anything. Consciousness creates according to your faith. We can stay right where we are. We can stay right where we are, and that's fine. Your soul is going to grow. Your soul is going to learn. It's going to be step to step to step to step. It's going to grow. Or we can realize and acknowledge that we all are given desires that seem crazy sometimes. Crazy. Okay, write it down. Stick it on a sticky note on your wall. Okay, God, that sounds crazy. I know it came from you. How do I make this happen? It sounds crazy. But I'm going to embrace the idea that it might be a possibility. What's my next step? I might energize it as I go by. Can't wait till I do that. Can't wait till that happens. Take a slow step by step. Desires come from God. The idea of being possibly able to receive it allows us to create a form. Letting God magnify and change the form. Energizing it with hope and possibility and gratitude, receiving. Never sit on a desire. Never park it in your brain. Never put it outside of your consciousness. Realize some portion of it is taking you to greatness somehow. And it may be my journey around the circle. And it took 5 years, but I saw it. I saw the journey starting within 1. I saw it starting. And it never looked back. Everybody take a breath. We are masters of this beautiful computer that we ride around in. Let's program it. Take a moment, put your feet on the floor. Father, Mother God, we open our hearts and we ask that your infinite love and light just engulf us. I ask that a beautiful column of light come over everyone here. And let us feel your peace. And feel yourself in this column of light, just as you are. Look within you. Is there a desire, a dream, that you have inside you that has not yet been given permission to be born? Some of you will see something instantly. Maybe it's something you've acknowledged before, but it hasn't succeeded. Maybe you see nothing. Feel and sense the desire within you. And if you see nothing, perhaps you can say, Father, I desire to be greater, bigger, better, greater. And we ask, Father, Mother God, that your love now move into each person, that your love move into these desires, so they feel and know it is of you. And just feel a lightness and a comfort. And in your heart, imagine that you can just lift this desire up and say, God, I've given it a form of something. I give this form to you. Whatever it needs to be. And I don't even need to see it in the moment. I give it to you. And Father, I energize it now with such gratitude. Gratitude, hope, joy, love. I am so very grateful that it will now come to me, that I will grow, I will expand, it will come to me, fulfilling the energy of your love for me. And hand it to Spirit. Father, Mother God, we thank you for the infinite potential we all have, for the newness we can experience daily. We thank you that your love and light fills us. Now feel the energy field around you and feel how you feel in it. Notice the changes. Perhaps you're brighter, perhaps you're bigger, perhaps you're more comfortable. And for a moment, just feel your gratitude for your life. I love my life. Breathe. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Creation process. Okay, you know what your homework is. You're going to hit one of your desires this week. That's how we roll here. You're going to hit a desire. It may be an old one. And if it's an old one, you're going to say to yourself, well, I just wasn't ready. But God's shifting it now and I'm ready. I'm going to be ready when it comes. If it's a new one, you're going to say, that's possible. even when it sounds impossible. However it is, you're going to embrace it and go through your steps. Let the form contribute to the form, give the form to God, energize it with gratitude, and expect that they're going to deliver it to you as you ordered. Yay, God. Yeah.